We're very pleased here to be with Rogerio Oliveira. He's the former head of IBM Latin America and now the chairman of the board president of Resource, a very interesting company that specializes in the finance IT sector. And we're going to start actually talking about some of the new ways to service that sector, particularly around cloud, which is, as we were just talking about, kind of creating a revolution of opportunity for the customer. So the Brazilian customers you're dealing with and the space in general, how are they evaluating this cloud option?
Well, I think is the cloud option is starting to take off. We are a big, in Resource IT Solutions, which is the company, we are a big partner of Salesforce and Amazon and Google. So it's very interesting to see the shift from the clients starting to look into a new option to have part of their systems or some of the solutions being implemented in the cloud. And it's amazing to see that in some big clients, big customers, including financial and banking, some line of business guys that have problems to sell their products, instead of waiting for the IT department,
of course,
because they are on the line waiting for something that's going to be ready, 2 years ahead, they go and solve the problems in spite of the IT department just putting a solution. And it's amazing to see that those new providers of cloud solutions, they are providing platforms. And immediately the client starts to realize the potential of that platform to solve other problems, not just a CRM or something that is very specific. And they start to ask for suppliers like Resource to do and solve other problems. So it's something really new. Just announced that this week, a bank, is not a big bank, called Banco Votorantim. They put the whole services to the clients on the cloud, which is a breakthrough, initiative here in Brazil. And you are starting to see more people doing that.
When we talk to CIOs in the financial sector in the United States, they automatically, when we talk public cloud, they automatically talk about compliance
and security,
and the security, and seeing their name in Wall Street Journal and the reputational damage. So there's a tremendous amount of hesitation about the public cloud. Do you perhaps see a little different story here?
Well, it's not that I see a different story. I think every breakthrough technology or solution in the world, not only in IT, usually the first wave is a flat and long wave. It's going to take sometimes years to start to change. But the problem is, in the opportunities, the second wave that comes is a tsunami. And all of a sudden, you start to see the acceptance of some new idea. And then comes a big demand because everybody in the market starts to buy that. I think cloud is in this final stage of the first wave.
So if I'm an IT head or a business line head and I say, I don't need an outsourcing partner anymore because I can just manage it directly with Salesforce.
Exactly.
Where does the service provider traditionally align with all that?
Well, because those guys, the providers of solution on the cloud, if they have a platform or they have a product, which is a different layer, because usually you have several layers in cloud. You have infrastructure providers like IBM, Amazon, etc. And then you have platform providers, and then you have application. And now you have this idea of a business model provider, which is going to give you a full business solution that you just can plug in and put your logo on top. You don't need to have the infrastructure. So what we are starting to see is that some companies or some parts of some companies, they are solving their problems trying to use those elements, not the whole structure. We have an insurance company here where they moved all the mail, the personal mail of 6,400 employees to Google. So that's a beginning, you know.
Right.
All of a sudden, you're going to see other parts of the company being part of this, you know.
So let me ask you this. It seems like that would make a lot of very large outsourcing providers nervous because that may disrupt their long-standing relationship. So as a result, you yourself obviously come from a Tier 1 background.
Okay.
What would those types of providers do? Do you see acquisitions happening in order to own a larger scope of practice areas and potentially be more of a full-service platform owner, having data centers, doing as much you can to prevent that customer from some going outside?
I would say that there are different perspectives depending on who you are, you know. If you take a resource, for example, we are not providers of asset or intellectual property. We don't develop, you know, softwares or solutions. We implement solutions. So I can use a portfolio of different technologies from different providers. So my main focus is how can I be trained, be the best option if somebody buys SAP or buys Salesforce or buys anything. I want to be the company they're going to be selecting to implement, to change, and to sustain.
Well, we'll be back many times to Brazil to check on this topic.
Yeah, to see how.
And we'll catch up with you, and one day we'll get a chance to meet on the tennis court.
Perfect.
Okay. Thank you, Rogerio.
Thank you.